Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone.
But you've possibly found the best kept secret in business. He's handsome. He's loud. He's got some tattoos. He'll tell you as it is and only wears a suit at a wedding or a funeral. No jargon, no overcomplicated 300-stage program. Just upfront, honest, proven ideas, thoughts, and strategies that actually work. So here's your host, the best kept business secret probably anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Marc Ford.
Hello and welcome to the Best Kept Business Secret podcast, taking an alternative look at what makes businesses work in an ever-changing business landscape. I am Marc Ford, coach, author and media contributor for business, and I can absolutely guarantee you that on this podcast we'll be talking ideas and strategies that really work, but taking a fresh perspective on what everybody else is talking about. Now, there are thousands of other experts out there doing videos and podcasts, so why listen to me? Well, my friend, I've been there and I've done it. I've made a lot of money for a lot of other people with my skills and my mindset, as well as started, built and sold my own business. I've seen the very highs and the very lows, and I'm currently helping clients grow their businesses faster than they ever thought, changing their lives and helping them attract their ideal customers and clients so their businesses will continue to thrive and grow. But rather than filling their head with a 300-stage program which must be followed at all costs, I choose to help the business owners and entrepreneurs find their own way and their own path that really works for them by taking that fresh perspective. Now is the time to have one foot in the usual and one foot in the exciting world of doing what's right for you and your business and not what everybody else does. So, in this episode, we're going to talk visions and goals. Now, in the last week alone, my Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn feeds have been full of people who are playing as coaches, telling you how to achieve more this year. The thing that's kind of gotten to me is that it seems that they've all read the same handbook, from people talking about big, hairy, audacious goals to shouting at the camera to try to motivate you, as if you were in the US Army as a new recruit, to closing your eyes and hoping that God will deliver everything you've ever wanted to. So, let's take a breath. First off, there are millions of people around the world that are setting big, ambitious goals and resolutions for themselves that, to be perfectly frank, will never actually materialize. Now, while I've been a long fan of goal setting, my passion for them has kind of cooled a bit. I still think they're very useful and people should set them, but through conversations with personal development experts as well as various books that I've read over the last year, I've come to think that focusing too much on goals can actually get in the way of living a very truly flourishing life. Now, one of the biggest tips I've seen in recent weeks is not to start working towards goals on New Year's Day. More goals are never accomplished because, yes, the 1st of January is a very good idea date-wise, but there's that come down after Christmas. So you should use the week as more of a taper week and build up to starting your goals. Mentally, we're probably not in the right place, and as this podcast goes out, I can almost guarantee that millions of people have already broken that well-intentioned resolution or goal. And my message to you guys out there is it's okay. Really, it is. You aren't the only ones that have messed up already. Two things. Either your goal wasn't compelling enough and the pain of you not completing it really sort of wasn't there, or you haven't realised that achieving that goal will take a bit of practice. Now, it's like riding a bike. No one ever rode a bike first time without falling off. The thing is that they got back on and they tried again and they probably fell off again. But eventually they got back on and tried again until they were doing wheelies, jumping off crap wooden ramps and steering with no hands. No? Okay, probably just me then. But you kind of get my point. You see, if you've already failed, don't sweat it. Just start again and practice it. I'd also noticed that there were two ways of doing things, achieving the things that you want to happen, whether personally or in business. What I've also noticed is that many of these videos that kept popping up were only giving people one way to achieve stuff. So let's take a look at achieving your best year yet by using either goals or a vision. So what's the difference? Well, let's dig in and together let's get going on a year full of promise and full of progress. Now, the difference between goals and visions. Okay, goals are specific and quantifiable. They have an end point. Once you've achieved a goal, you're kind of done with it. Goals tell us what we need to do in order to get to a desired outcome. We've all seen examples of what ideal, i.e. specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goals look like. You know, I will lose 10 pounds by the end of February. I'll read 20 books by the end of the year. I will attend 2 conferences in my industry by the end of November. I will write 500 words a day. I will earn £5,000 a month. Now, visions, however, are a broad, all-encompassing idea of how you want your life and your business to look, feel, and be in the future. When you close your eyes and imagine your ideal life, or you imagine your ideal business, that, my friend, is a vision. Unlike goals, it's open-ended. There's never a specific moment when you can say, I've achieved my vision. It's an ideal that you strive for and may get close to achieving, but because it's an ideal, you'll never entirely arrive at it. Now, visions are often harder to put into words than goals because you have to describe a word that doesn't exist yet. When you put your vision into words, the end result is a vision statement. So vision statements can be short and pithy or long and boring if you want. But when companies come up with vision statements, they usually go for the former. As a great example, Microsoft's vision statement at one point was a computer on every desk and in every home, all running Microsoft software. I'd say they got pretty damn close to it. Now, John F. Kennedy laid out a longer vision for the space program in his speech in 1962. Now, he didn't just announce a concrete goal, i.e. going to the moon, but he painted a picture of a country that was deeply, deeply interested in the mysteries of the universe and dedicated to using technological progress to ascend to a brighter future. Now, when you come up with your own personal vision statement, it can be something as short as, I will be physically strong and skillfully capable in all aspects of my life so that I am able to improve the lives of my family and everyone I encounter. Yeah, it's a bit long-winded, I appreciate that. Or it can span several pages in which you can describe in detail what your ideal life looks and feels like. And actually, when you start living that, there are arguments that the law of attraction, when you have described your vision in great detail, that the laws of attraction will bring that closer. But that's entirely up to you whether you believe it. Now, whether short or long, what all vision statements have in common is they describe how an ideal life would be. So why should we use goals if it's vision that really drives us? Well, look, goals produce results. Goals are the means to an end. That is your vision, and the visions are an end in itself. It requires hard work, sweat, and commitment, which will make you closer to your vision each time. For example, if your vision is to have your services reach a global platform in the next 3 years, you need to set goals for yourself at every level and fulfill it successfully before you reach your vision. Goals are also realistic. Similar to dreams, visions will also remain unattainable when they are not coupled with goals. You can have a particular vision for your business that can go on forever until and unless you substantiate it with goals. Here, one may also talk about objectives, which are nothing but smaller stepping stones that help you conquer your goals. In order for you to realize your vision, every entrepreneur needs some goals and objectives. Visions are limitless. Goals are not. There is practically no end to human imagination. Much like Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, which was unthinkable at that historical juncture, they materialise into reality after a few years. Your visions are limitless as well, which might materialise with effort. Your visions will stretch as much as your imagination. However, your goals will stretch you. Goals are continuous tests of abilities, skills, and perseverance. Goals also require action. Visions don't. It is not possible for any person, be it an entrepreneur or a layman, to make their vision turn into reality without having to lift a finger. In clearer terms, one might have the vision of creating a healthy body image in the very near future. In order for that to happen, they must set goals of working out and getting into shape, or set goals on how he or she can bring about that change internally. Whereas one can develop a vision even in the comfort of their own living room couch. Now, goals are short-term, visions are not. Goals usually are like a cluster of checklists and are relatively short-lived. After the successful completion of one, you kind of move on to another. Visions are more of a gradual process. It may take a longer time to realise your vision than your goals. You need to be a goal setter and visionary to take your business forward in a tough but exciting uphill adventure. After all, if you don't have anything to look forward to, how can you strive for more? So, in the interest of fairness, I want to talk about the other option for you. The benefits of focusing on visions over goals. Now, having goals or a vision isn't a kind of either or proposition, if I'm honest. You should kind of have both. But there are a few reasons why you should focus more on your vision than your individual goals. Now, goals lack deeper meaning. A vision provides purpose and significance. Now, I love goals. Whenever I set myself goals, I make measurable strides in my life. But something I've noticed is that when I become too goal focused, things in my life actually start to kind of fall over. When I embed my goals with an overarching vision, however, I consistently start making more lasting and meaningful progress. Now, goals are great for telling you what to do, but they don't provide a why. By themselves, goals don't provide any meaning. If you've ever achieved a significant goal in your life but felt surprisingly empty, this is the reason why. Here's an example from my own life. Now, when I started my business, I wanted to start an event for other business owners in that particular niche. There was a gap in the market and no one wanted to talk about what I thought needed to be talked about. But I knew that it would benefit hundreds, if not thousands, of business owners. So I started one. I ran it for 3 years, and it was really well attended. And it made changes to people's business and the industry. I had done it. Yes, I had done it. Yet the thing I remember most about that moment was how unexcited I actually felt. I'd achieved the thing that I'd worked countless hours for, and I was completely underwhelmed. It was actually a bit of a letdown. Now, when I look back at the experience, the reason I was surprisingly disappointed after I had achieved this hard-sought goal was that I wasn't attached to a deeper, more significant vision. The reality was I actually had no clue why I wanted to be the first to do it. I didn't even have a significant reason for why I wanted to help that niche that had absolutely no interest in helping itself. I did it simply because it seemed like the next step in the ladder of my life. I wasn't even sure I wanted to stay in that niche for the rest of my life. And as it turned out, I didn't. So starting this event was thus disconnected from a broader, much more meaningful vision for my life. Consequently, when I achieved the goal, it felt utterly insignificant. Now again, goals are great at providing specific outcomes to aim for, but in and of themselves, they can't provide meaning. Goals can't tell you why you're doing something. They just tell you what to do. If you've been achieving goal after goal in your life but still feel empty, it's likely because you've made goals the ends in and of themselves, and you don't have a more significant big picture of why you're labouring at those means. You just don't have a vision for your life. So why are you trying to lose weight? Just because you want to reduce your gut, or because you want to be able to play with your kids or be around for them for a very long time? Why did you start your own business? Simply because your old boss was annoying the hell out of you, or because you wanted to be independent and set your own career course? Why do you want to read more books? Is it only because you have a vague idea that they're kind of good for your brain, or because you want to learn as much as you possibly can before you die? Once you connect your goals to an overarching vision, they can become more satisfying both to achieve and to pursue. Goals can cause self-defeating single-mindedness. A vision provides room for some adaptability. Now, when we become overly goal-focused, it can cause a single-mindedness that can get in the way of our long-term success and happiness. Now, I call this tendency goal-lock gridlock. When you set a goal for yourself, you're setting it based on your current knowledge about your environment and yourself. But things change. Maybe you realise that becoming a doctor isn't what you really wanted to do with your life, or perhaps an opportunity arises that didn't exist when you initially set your goal. Now, if you're tethered by goal-lock gridlock, you're unable to adapt these changes, and you end up staying on a path that may not lead to an overall flourishing life. Yes, determination is a virtue, but when you're doggedly pursuing the wrong aim, it becomes a vice. Now, in contrast, a vision allows for adaptability. A vision provides an overarching ideal and aim in life, but then allows for pivoting to different pathways that will still get you to the same place. For example, many people decide that they want to become that doctor because they want to help and serve others. But there are other ways to help and serve others that don't require becoming that doctor. Now, if you have a vision rather than a goal, and you decided you don't want to be a doctor after all, you will feel freer to pivot your life's course, dropping your chemistry degree, picking up history, and deciding you'd rather make a difference by becoming a teacher. As humans, we have two needs: certainty and uncertainty. We like to know that bills are paid and we have enough money for food. And lots of people will tell you they like a surprise in life after that. Bullshit, do we? We like very pleasant surprises, but nothing else. And let's be fair, what's more uncertain than life itself? Now, to thrive in an ever-changing world, we must constantly reorientate ourselves with new knowledge that we receive about ourselves and our environment. Becoming too goal-focused hardens our minds and prevents us from orientating to the new landscape before us. A vision-focused life, on the other hand, allows you to stay agile and nimble. Goals can lead to depression and angst. A vision provides long-term vitality. Now, this is quite controversial because I've used the word depression. I apologise for it. But I think most understand why a goal-focused life could lead to depression and angst. If you don't get something you really want and you've worked for, an expectation isn't met, and the disappointment can deeply sting and consume. But the insidious thing about a goal-focused life is that it can lead to depression and existential anxiety even when you do achieve your goals. Now, in an interview that I've read with Dr. Jeff Spencer, a former Olympian and a current coach to world-class athletes, about the psychology problems facing Olympians and other high-performing competitors, he said that many experience anxiety after finally achieving a goal they've spent their entire lives chasing. An athlete wins a gold medal, does the media tour for a few weeks when he gets home, and maybe signs an endorsement deal. But then things quieten down, and a depressing malaise sets in. The athlete wonders, now what do I do with myself? Now, without a singular goal before them, they feel entirely unmoored. Now, Spencer talks about, for the goal-focused athlete, the seeds of the destruction are sown in their success. Many simply stop training for their sport. They retire. Others who keep going do so with little heart. Personal problems start popping up. Some turn to excessive partying and spending, while others get involved in extramarital affairs. But a few high-performing athletes who achieve their goals are able to continue working and performing with the same intensity and motivation that they had when they first began the sport. What's more, they're able to avoid many of the self-destructive behaviours that come with great success. So when Dr. Spencer is asked how these athletes did it, he said they had a vision for their entire life. Now, for these athletes, winning the gold medal or becoming an MVP wasn't the end and be all and end all. These goals were simply ways of them to measure how they were progressing towards their overall vision. A vision that might include reaching their full potential, being involved as long as possible in a sport that they love, and fully mastering its skills and knowledge, using their athletic success as a platform to become influential in business, politics or charity work, becoming a coach or so on. So because they had bigger vision of what they were trying to achieve, they were able to avoid the funks that come when you fall short or even achieving your goal. Now, we would do well to learn from those resilient Olympians. Goals are useful, but when you become too focused on them, they can destroy us when we succeed. A vision, on the other hand, provides an ideal to keep aiming for, even when you've completed a goal. While goals can provide short-term direction, a vision is what will keep you going for long haul. Now, don't confuse goals for the blueprint. Again, this isn't a slam against goals. I hope you realise that actually I do genuinely love goals and think they are extremely useful in creating a life that we want for ourselves. I'm simply arguing that if we really want to live a flourishing life and a growing business, we need to become vision focused and put our goals into the context of that vision. If we were the craftsman of our lives, think of goals as a tool, one of many at your disposal, and your life's vision as the blueprint. It'd be silly for a craftsman to expect that by simply putting a chisel to a piece of wood, a beautiful masterpiece will appear. He needs a plan, a blueprint, a rough sketch of what he wants the thing to look like. As it is with the craftsman, so it is with us and our businesses. Goals are fantastic tools for personal and professional development, but if we expect that simply setting goals will lead to a flourishing life, we are going to be greatly disappointed. We need to create a rich, compelling vision of where we want to go and who we want to be in order to provide that vital context and meaning to our goals. So, here is a challenge for this year. Yes, make goals, but make them as part of an all-encompassing vision for your life and for your business. How do you want your life and business to feel, look, and be at the beginning of next year? Now, once you know that, create goals, or probably actually get rid of some that will bring your reality closer in alignment with that ideal. I promise as you do so, you'll find that your life will be filled with less angst, more meaning, and the deep satisfaction that comes with striving to becoming the best version of you and becoming the best version of your business. And what I'd also like to do on this podcast is, this is kind of between us. This is just you and me. You're either watching this or you're listening to this. So I'm going to share with you some of my goals for this year, which link in with my overall vision. So I've restarted this weekly podcast, helping you, the business owner and entrepreneur, be the best that you can be and have the best year ever. I'm also going to run one live event every month in 2018 for business owners and entrepreneurs starting this month. More details of this in the next podcast. There will also be the launch of the Customer Machine Launchpad, free training to help you attract the right customers and clients for your businesses, meaning less spending on marketing and more income from the people who really do want to buy from you. I'm also going to speak to over 2,000 different entrepreneurs and business owners this year. And if you go over to Facebook and find my group, and it's called The Best Kept Business Secret, so that's called The Best Kept Business Secret on Facebook, I will be doing weekly Facebook Lives, answering questions from group members about business, about moving them and their businesses forward for their best ever year. And all of that is in keeping with my vision of helping small businesses be the best that they can be, stronger and robust from all eventualities, and giving the entrepreneurs and owners their best year ever. So, for more stuff like this, blogs, ebooks, and details of where you can get in contact with me, head over to my website, www.markford.uk, and I will see you on the inside. Now, if you've enjoyed this podcast, click on the like and subscribe buttons, or if you're listening to me on iTunes, I would greatly appreciate a review. So, until next time, take care, and we'll speak soon.
Frozen one was like